Hey guys, free pick time. All right, back with another free play. So today I got a baseball play for you guys on a crazy day. I want to talk about this before we jump into today's play. So, normally, if you guys have been following, you know I talk about on my card, we got days where you have crazy amounts of value. I have a fair amount of plays, but we'll have, anywhere between 0 to 2 bigger plays. Occasionally have a 2-unit play. Today, guys, talk about the stars aligning. We got a 2-unit play, and we have 5 other big plays. 5 big plays, by far the most big plays we've had this year on a lot of volume. There is so much value out there today, guys, and we aim to take advantage. I know that I try to be conservative in our unit size betting and, practice bankroll management, all that. But at the end of the day, when value presents itself, you're never afraid to take advantage, okay? And this is what we wait for in sports betting. Today, fingers crossed, we got WNBA. You guys know what I've been doing at WNBA. 2-unit play in Major League Baseball. Get some big props as well, other big MLB plays. So very excited for that. But again, still always want to practice bankroll management, not betting our whole accounts because we got a 2-unit play, right? Right. BenderWins.com if you're interested, guys. It's $99 a month, gets you my full card every single day, plus all the masterclass educational video and the Bender Wins Guide to Professional Sports Betting. Hopefully, if you join today, this will be a nice jumpstart to your bankroll, but we shall see. All right, so going into yesterday, we had won 13 of our last 15 games here on Free Picks. We were 13-2. Thought very much that we were going to go to 14-2. Unfortunately, we are now 13-3 over our last 16 because we had ourselves a bit of a bad beat. First and foremost, 17 runners left on base. 17 runners. That is a lot of base runners to leave on base. Cincinnati, top of the 9th inning. They got a runner on third with 1 out. You're going to score about 34.08% of the time. Runner on third, 1 out. Okay? They didn't do it. Bottom of the 9th inning. And this is a big one because this is to win. If Colorado scores this run, we win right away. They get a runner on third base with nobody out. Runners on second and third with nobody out. You're going to score that about 86% of the time. You're not going to score a run 14.78% of the time. So when you factor those two together, those last 5 outs of the game where they didn't get a run, in those situations, only going to happen about 4.9% of the time. Now you add on to that the fact that they left 17 total runners left on base. That's a pretty bad beat. It was a tough one to swallow, but again, there's 2 things that I want to talk about really quickly about that play. Number one is, this is what I talk about when, you break your plays up into 4 quadrants, okay? You got good plays that win, good plays that lose, bad plays that win, and bad plays that lose, right? And we got to be honest with ourselves. But in this particular play, as a lot of people alluded to in the comment section, look, it was the right side. It just didn't come in, okay? And that, at the end of the day, is long-term a better thing than, to have a bunch of bad picks that happen to be winning over the short term, okay? No, you want to identify good value, know that you're on the right side, beat the closing line, which again, we did yesterday. These are the important things. Long term, you're not going to lose a lot of games where you're 95 or 97% to win those games, right? The second thing, all right, when I come out here and I talk about the fact that the greatest sports bettor of all time, Mr. Billy Walters, was 57% long term, okay? And I still get people argue with me, say, no, my uncle's cat's friend's sister's iguana, it hit 63%. And I say, no, it doesn't. Your friend's iguana does not hit 62 or 63%. Okay, not at minus 110. And people just can't wrap their heads around this. And you see out there all these people talking about, I'm hitting 65% winners and, I'm the GOAT, I'm the greatest, I'm hitting, blah, 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 blah. Like some people, 70%, they think it's actually doable. And they don't even understand the math behind it, right? The odds of hitting 70% winners. A lot of you guys know this from me calling out some of the frauds out there. Odds of hitting 70% winners. Go ahead and Google this, okay? 70% winners at minus 110 odds over 1,000 games, okay? It's $1 trillion to 1. $1 trillion to 1. You got million, billion, trillions, trillion to 1, okay? Can't happen. So when you see games like this, you understand why. You can be on the right side of games. It doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to translate over into wins, okay? And that is why, if we're hitting 54 to 56%, you can make a ridiculous amount of money because the compound interest is insane. That is the key to sports betting, compound interest. All right. So, where are we going? Oh, yeah, yesterday. Oh, yeah, the other thing, too. Last thing to talk about on yesterday's game. I said there was going to be a 25 to 28% increase in expected home runs. The other factor into this bad beat, we got 4 home runs. Perfect, right? Every single one of them was a solo shot, though. So that's disappointing. But here's the thing. Not much has changed today from yesterday in terms of hitting conditions. And in fact, this pitching matchup, slightly more favorable for the over. Today, instead of seeing a 25 to 28% increase in home runs, slightly higher, 26 to 29% increase in home runs. We're going to go with Cincinnati and Colorado over 10 again. All right. Quick pitching matchup here. Okay, so Noah Davis, not really high up there in terms of velocity, but 33rd percentile in velocity, 29th percentile in spin rate, and second percentile. So like the lowest, I believe second lowest in Major League Baseball in extension. So you couple those things together, and basically it's not hard to understand why batters are having a whip rate of 1.8 off him right now, and for his whole career about 1.9, because the ball's coming in fairly straight. It's coming in relatively slow, and his extension rate means that basically where people are releasing the ball from, which makes a big difference in how long it takes that ball to get to home plate, batters have an extra tenth of a second or half-tenth of a second, right, to see that ball. And if you give that to a major league hitter, they're going to square up the ball. Okay, now on the other side, Blake Lively should see about an 8% increase in his fly ball rate versus Major League Baseball average, okay? So when we're talking about ideal home run conditions, and we immediately talk about a guy who's going to produce 8% more fly balls than MLB average, something to take note of, okay? 27th percentile in expected slug rate. Now, it hasn't burned him so much yet this year, but again, that's why we look at expected slug rate. Could have been in some conditions where he's playing in some in larger ballparks where balls just didn't go out of the park. Could be in a situation where wind was blowing in at 15 miles an hour, ball stayed in the park. Okay, so expected slug rate versus actual slug rate, two totally different things. But the expected is a much better indication of what the probable results should have been, and possibly a better forecaster of what should happen going forward, all right? Past results not always mimicking what will happen going forward. But we can extrapolate all of these things to say that there's probably going to be some runs scored in this game. Now, the other thing, too, I talked about the velo and the spin rate coming out of Davis. It's even worse coming out of Lively. So he's looking at the third worst spin rate in MLB. And if you guys don't understand spin rate, it is such an important factor. It is basically the revolutions that pitchers are putting on the ball. Even when a pitcher throws a fastball, okay, there is spin on that ball. And that is what is creating movement. It doesn't matter if you throw the ball 103 miles an hour and it doesn't move, okay, you will get hit way more than a guy throwing 89 with a high percentile of movement, okay? Movement is everything in Major League Baseball. Guys have learned to adjust their eyes to see 100-mile-an-hour pitches. But the fact that you get a guy with a low spin rate, the 13th percentile, which is very low in terms of velocity, they're going to square up, okay? Now, when they square up and he gives up 8% more fly balls, where are those balls going? Hopefully deposited in the seats, hopefully with runners on base today. So that's why we're going to do that play again. All right, guys, that is it. BenderWins.com for the full card. As I mentioned, we got a crazy day. 2-unit play, 5 big plays today on a lot of volume. So fingers crossed, guys, it's going to be a big day. BenderWins.com for the full card. Best of luck, guys, and we'll see you soon.